the PDF downloads of the African Dialogues, Volumes 1 and 2 are in the links below the description of this video. Charles, I wanted to know about the idea of the temples of golden wisdom and their guardians in the new nowness life is. Are new students still taking nightly instruction in the soul body, which are in places in creation, or do they now only go to the real universes? There are various temples on each of the creational levels, or do they receive instruction only in the real universes? Duane responds, these are just places and ideas that Paul related to, so people would again have something to identify with, just like here. But now we have the GPS, except maybe someone will come up with the universal GPS, so people can better track where they go. That's all these places are. They're just references. I wrote about them as a reference along the lines to give people something, but I didn't define the real universes like Paul did. His definition is a reference, but it isn't it, because it's anything and everything. I personally don't refer to any of these things. I don't mention them, because these are like places, and this is how people think from this one-dimensional consciousness they have created. They think in terms of places. They think from here to there, instead of an isness, and recognizing this reality, that becomes all-encompassing, just like you do here. When you go to a place, you take your personal self, and many times on these journeys, and even in the so-called soul body, the individual is still bringing their personal self along. When Rebazar took Paul through his experience that he called the Tiger's Fang, which was the name of the book, he came back and tried to get into religion. Paul was still, in his own way, seeing the personal self, even though he had the experience. He had to, you might say, grow into the experience. There's a point in the book where he sits down and says how he was unsure if he'd found himself at all. That personal self is self-convinced, and this is what most people don't see. Yes, you have that part, a little like how you can ride your bike and drive your car. You can go buy food, make money, etc. This is part of the personal self. But trying to take the personal self into the recognition of what life is, that becomes a particular. The best thing about life is that the true reality of it is more than the sun shining, and even if you can recognize how that relates, it is more than that, because it is so much better than anything considered here, and all the restrictions. We start off with restrictions and doing these things. That's why I created the idea and the reference of UP, universal positioning. Paul started off with bilocation, which was really astral projection, and the idea was just to get people to see that they were more than a body, to get them outside of that. For the most part, people cling to the idea of wanting to be the body, that they are the body. That's fine, but you will keep creating new bodies to be the body. This is what you will do. Then Paul started with the idea of soul travel, and how this only works in creation, which it does, because it's point to point. The soul travel idea has really become almost nothing. People do have experiences, but they're basically still captive in creation. This is where, in the books, I realized and recognized what was going on, and I called the heavens designated. These designated heavens are not where the birds fly, but are created to appear like cyberspace, like heavens. So people go there for a while, then the idea is to go back to Earth and be a slave there again too. You're designated to where you are to go, and if you want that, then fine, you got it. UP is unlimited. It's universal positioning. In other words, you decide your position, and you learn to recognize it. Everything that I refer to, everything that I write about, refers to the isness. When Paul laid out what he did, he was the babysitter at the time. Those were the first steps. Think of it like kindergarten in a way. We're going to colour today and stack blocks, and those blocks are the ideas we're going to relate to. So you can identify with something. These were things created, so people could identify and take the next step from what they had been through.